How's it going, everyone? It's Lee again from Function Dynamic, and in today's video we'll be covering reports inside Zoho Creator. Now, as mentioned from the first video in this series, each time you create a new form, we also get an associated report with it, and by default it's going to list all of the records of a given form. So if we look down here, we can see customer, which is the form, then all customers. Same with salespeople. It's better to show you over in the by accessing the application. So yeah, we have customer, for example, and then we have all customers, and it lists out the customer name, email, phone, and address. And then the same with salesperson, we have the form, and then we have the reports. Likewise for product, form, and report. And each time you add in a new entry in the form, it will show up in the report. So for example, if I enter in a new product, let's say keyboard, and I'll set the price to $12 and in stock to $23. It will say product added successfully, and then we can see that show up here. Likewise, as we saw in the previous video, we can see that new product show up here, and then of course it will, whatever workflows you have in place, it'll do that. But what we want to focus on is the functionality of reports, because by default it gives you, we're given just a simple report that lists everything. So we can narrow this down by going to edit application. And you can do this one of two ways. You can either edit existing reports by selecting the report you want, and then going to open report properties. And here we can add in different filters. So for example, if I could enter in products that have a stock less than 10. So perhaps I might want to have a specific report if I have products and I need to reorder them. This might be a useful one. Now keep in mind, if we are editing the all products report right now, and it might not make sense, well, it will not make sense to have a report named all products and then not show all products. So you can do one of two things. You can select the ellipses up at the top right hand corner, then do rename, and then rename the report. But then we're going to lose this report, and we might still want to see all products. So I'm just going to press cancel and then exit out of here. So another thing we can do is click the add new button up in the top left hand corner, add a report, and for this we're going to just, I'll go back, we're going to select the list report and then do it on products, and we're going to say reorders needed. And so underneath this product tab we can see reorders needed. Now if I go into, not this, but if I hover over and go to open report properties, I can then add this new filter. So for example, we'll do the since we're doing reorders needed, we'll say in stock is less than 10, and then push done. And then if we go to access this application, we'll see if we have any under 10, which we don't at the moment. But if, yeah, because as we can see, we have everything is slightly, at least slightly over 10. We can of course edit this existing one. So let's say we make a couple sales for sinks and go over to reorders needed. We can see that this shows up right here. So this can be useful in a lot of ways. So we could build on this a little bit more by adding in an additional field for reorder at. So if we look at all our products, we may or may not want, if we need to order things at a different point. So if we sell a lot of keyboards really fast, then we might want to reorder that a lot sooner than if we have tables, which we might sell once every month. So to do that, what we would first do is then go over to the products and select the form builder for product, go into there, and then simply throw in a number field called reorder at, which will then create that along with the field link name. So before we move on, we'll want to remember this field link name, and we'll see why in just a second. Because we can go over to reorders needed and go to open report properties. And then instead of having a hard-coded 10, what we can do, and now this is a neat little tip. Zoho doesn't make it apparently obvious. We can type in input.reorder at and then push save. Now it looks a little strange and it's not very intuitive at all, but this is essentially saying if in stock is less than the reorder at field, then we'll change this actually to less than or equal to reorder at. It will see if this field is less than this, and if so, it'll put it on the report itself. We can see if we just change the name and try to press save, it's going to say it doesn't exist. So it actually does work this way. So we'll go over to done, go to access this application. And if we look at reorders needed, we could see that no records match the specified criteria. That is because we haven't filled in the reorder at field. So if we go to the all products field, we can see that the reorder at field is now in place and they're all blank at the moment. So we'll go over, select the ellipses, press edit, and then in stock we'll reorder at, let's reorder these at 23. Sinks, edit, reorder at 10. And then for tables and chairs, we won't reorder those. They have sufficient stock in place. So we'll just put 20 in there. And if we look at reorders needed, we can see that the keyboard and sink are both now showing up because their stock is in stock is less than the reordered at field. So that's a neat little trick. All right, one last thing I want to show you in this video is editing the fields shown in the report and also editing the fields when you click into it. So these are two different views. This is called the list view, and then this is called the detail view. And we can edit these and actually customize these with fairly great depth. So I'll exit off, go into edit this application. And we can see that we have the quick view and detail view up in the right-hand pane. We'll start off with the quick view. Now I'll go to configure fields for web this time. And here we can add in different fields. The reason why I chose a sales record is because if you remember from the previous video, the sales record has a lot of different lookups to a lot of different forms, and that actually allows us a lot of flexibility. So we can take a look and see that we can pull fields from the customer form itself and even pull it from any of them there, including adding a new button, but we'll cover that in a later video. For now, what we'll do is we'll throw in the customer name and the customer email. And we'll remove this field because this is actually just the lookup field to the specific record. And we'll just throw that up there. We can rearrange it by pulling it up and down. And if you click into it, sometimes, depending on the field, so for example, name, you get additional display values. So we can choose to show first name or last name in the suffix. If we want, we'll hide those. And for date, for example, we can choose different aspects of that date. For now, that looks good, and we'll just press X. And then we can go over to Detail View. And Detail View is the same. You can go into Configure Fields for Web and add fields as you want. However, you can see that there's two options right here. Now, this is just a single option. You'll list fields one on top of another. But this can group the fields together. And at least in my opinion, in a lot of cases, it is a lot easier to view all the data because it groups them in a logical way. And also, when you have things like line items, it will list off each line item. So we can jump into there. And we can see that there's the overview. For overview, we're just going to remove this. We're going to remove these fields and just leave the date, the subtotal taxes. We're going to add a related block underneath and then choose line items. And what this will do is it will list all the line items in the sale itself. We're going to delete this and this. Now we're also going to add in another related block, one this time for customer, just so we could see the customer information there. And lastly, we can also do one for salesperson if we wanted to, just for completeness. And now that that is saved, and by the way, this automatically saves, so any changes you make will just automatically be saved. So don't look for a save button. We can just push X, go to access this application. And we'll see the two things. We'll see the customer name and the email show up on the quick view. And then by clicking in, we can get a lot more information about the actual sale itself. The nice thing about this too is you can of course press print or export this if need be. So it's a nice way to group all this information together, show you the information relevant to your business or process, and keep things organized. Whether you already have a Creator application, are looking to get started, or just want to have a one-on-one conversation to get pointed in the right direction, always feel free to reach out to us at Function Dynamic by going to www.functiondynamic.com. Click the Contact Us link and fill in the Get Started form. Once filled in, you will automatically receive an email with a link to schedule a time that works best for you. This was Lee from Function Dynamic. Thank you all for watching, and see you in the next video where we cover workflows that start up whenever we open a form.